Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the Orns of Friday Focus on Huddersfield versus Watford at John Smith Stadium. That takes place in just a few hours' time, as a matter of fact, and Watford will be looking to better their performance and result. Of course, here as the second of the two H teams in succession. Hull was a nil-nil draw last week in a game that really should not have been a nil-nil. Watford did not play very well at all in the game. And now the second H team, Huddersfield Town, is an opportunity again for Watford to get back on to the winning track. They've now gone two without a win, and they have, by the way, in the last three games, not conceded a goal. That's three consecutive clean sheets. Watford will be looking to keep that going, but they would like to also get some goals scored. They've now not scored in the last two games, and they will be looking to put that right, of course. The one concern, of course, I've got in this game for Watford is how they play, because, of course, that's the only concern. When you play up and down to the level of your competition, you could be in a whole heap of trouble. And for Watford, they're taking on a Huddersfield Town side that reside on the very bottom rung of the championship. Very, very bottom indeed. Huddersfield can't sink any lower than where they are. So they will have an incentive to play well in front of their home crowd. And once again, they will have a target on Watford's back. And Watford will have to avoid the trap of playing down to the level of their competition. Huddersfield Town aren't a team that I think should be on the bottom of the table, but the results do not lie. And Watford will have to ignore all of that and play Huddersfield and show them the respect that they should be shown. They should never be taken for granted. That's what Watford did with Hull last week. They took Hull City for granted. Watford cannot afford to make that very same mistake against a Huddersfield Town side that may produce a surprise in this game. Watford have to guard against complacency. Their mentality has to be completely different from the game they played against Hull just a few days ago. They will have to go at this game from the off, but never, ever, ever relax in a game like this. Now, when I say show Huddersfield respect, I do mean that. I mean show them respect by taking them seriously. But I also mean that you have to go about your business, do your business on the pitch, and get the job done. That's what I mean by business and handling business, not expectation. Again, this is the same kind of thing I said last week. Watford have to play with business on the mind and not expectation on the mind. Last week against Hull, it was expectation football. Watford played as if they expected to win, and they didn't do the things you needed to do in order to win. The business aspect of that particular methodology was missing. And Watford will have to employ that tomorrow if they are to gain any kind of success at all in a game that could really be a furiously poor trap for Watford. It could be a banana peel game. Now, Huddersfield are going to have all incentive to get up for this game. They are going to get up for this game against a team that was relegated from the Premier League just last season. Watford, well, what Watford do? What will they do here to try to incentivize themselves? Well, they do have new signings, one or two of which could be in the game tomorrow, could be certainly named to the bench at the very, very least. Ismail Assar expected to be back. Hopefully he will be. But Watford FC now have to play like their lives depended on it. I think Watford have to play this game as if they are the underdog. Watford are expected to win this game. But Watford have to play as if they're the ones who are really with their backs to the wall. They have to do reverse psychology and employ some confidence, because that's what Watford is short of this season. Even when they've played fairly well, there are times when they backslide in games where they sit on 1-0 leads and where they don't do the kind of fundamental things you have to do to finish out a match. Watford cannot afford, if they score first tomorrow, to sit on a 1-0. You cannot afford to do that if you're Watford Football Club. Huddersfield Town, if Huddersfield Town score first, that's something that they might try to do, and they will aim to frustrate Watford. They'll aim to tackle and clog up the midfield and obstruct Watford's ability to bring the ball down the channels. And they'll attack that left side, particularly where Ken Sema plays, or if they switch off and put Saar there, they'll attack that left side. I think that's where they're going to go with Watford. They're going to completely try to overload the left side of the pitch and force the action from the right side. That is what they're going to do to probably try to ask a player who's not as proficient on that side of the pitch to try to beat them down the flank on the right side. Now, we'll see if that happens. Watford cannot, under any circumstances at all, take Huddersfield Town lightly. This has been the Orns Friday Focus.